In my second video in the End Times Prophecy series, I added a timeline of how I understand the order of events will take place when combining the predictions. The issue I want to tackle now is, where are we on this timeline? The timeline begins here, with a white horse that is called Plague, and its rider wearing a crown, holding a bow with no arrows. Does that mean that it was a representation to the years 2020 and 2021? I used to think so, but I'm not so sure anymore. And I can imagine what some of you think. Are you telling me that after all the quarantines, all vaccine injuries, and all of the fights with family members we've been through, it wasn't even the real thing? Looking at the interpretations of the White Horse prediction, it might be the case that the corona was only a preparation for what is about to come. This could be what Bill Gates meant when he mentioned the worst pandemic.
So we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, I'd say is will get attention this time.
According to interpretation of the White Horse prophecy, 1/3 of the population is expected to die with fire, smoke, and sulfur coming out of its mouth. Will billions of people soon turn into dragons? I don't know yet, but I bet the vaccines have something to do with it. Meanwhile, Armilus continues to build his image as the world's greatest villain with the help of mainstream media. Dutch news sources claim that a historic bridge in Rotterdam is about to be teared down because Bezos' yacht is too big to go under it. Everything you see on the news is meant either to manipulate you or to provoke you, and this article is a poke in the eye to everybody who reads it. An important move led by Amazon is the push to boycott the state of Israel and its citizens. Anyone who is aware of Amazon's employees' working conditions will immediately question them prioritizing Middle Eastern politics of all issues. The use of nameless, faceless employees to push this agenda has a purpose. This move will fixate Armilus Bezos as an enemy of the Jews, and so the bold supervillain makes one more step towards war with Jerusalem. Another important indicator for our progress on the timeline is Israeli politics. The Israeli government was the one to set the tone during the enforcement of the Green Passport laws, and I believe it's possible to predict what will happen around the world by analyzing its decisions. More fights erupt in the area of the Temple Mountain. It looks like a war is cooking on small fire with leaders on both sides promoting violence. Eventually, after the devastation of the land and the torture of its inhabitants, Israel is said to be a megacity ranging from Jordan to Egypt. The last thing I want to discuss here is a thought I had after watching a certain video on a channel I really like. The guy behind this channel makes analyses of fictional stories, and I watched his upload on Dune. You probably know Dune as this sci-fi story with a giant worm, but it turns out that the story is a lot more complicated than that, and since I'm not going to read the books, I depend on YouTube videos to explain the entire plot to me. There was one thing that I want to mention about the story analysis that really stuck with me. In Dune, most of the events take place in a desert planet populated by a culture that is really similar to our Bedouin culture. In the story, this culture has a prophecy about a prophet that will come and save them from the life of misery they have on their shithole of a planet. The thing is that the source of this prophecy is a secret society that fabricated this entire tale and spread it around in order to gain control over these people. Throughout the plot, the viewers get to see how the inhabitants of this place force scenarios to match with their tale just because they want this person they met to be their savior so badly. And with that, I'm going to finish this video and leave you to draw your own conclusions.